I'm ready.
Recording. Let's see, say yes.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, I'm ready. And I can click start your recording. There you go.
Okay.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. All right, I think the technology is working, so, and it's 7 p.m. I'm gonna call this meeting of the Armada Township Zoning Board of Appeals to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chris, will you call the roll, please?
Hicks.
Here.
Getzinger.
Here.
Carrick.
Here.
Mogul.
Here.
And no Diane.
Okay.
We have a quorum.
We do indeed. Has everybody had a chance to review the agenda? Are there any changes, questions, problems, et cetera?
I'll move to approve the agenda as presented.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Please say no. Okay, we have, the next item of business is the minutes from our, I guess it was our last meeting of last year. And, okay, that is the wrong, no, that's the right thing. Are there any amendments or problems with the minutes as presented?
Pretty short and sweet.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Thank you. Give support.
I'll second that.
Thanks. All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed? Okay, the minutes have been approved. Now we are ready to open the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing on Semco Irwin Road setback variance at 7:02.
I'll second.
Thanks, Jim. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the public hearing is open. And now we will address the new business is the application for a setback variance from Simcoe. And I assume that one or both of you gentlemen would have something you'd like to say. So this is where you tell us all about it.
And could you
Yeah, if you
go
would
to
step
the-
up to the microphone so thank
so
you.
that it gets recorded?
Yeah, so everything gets recorded, so we
Okay.
hear you.
I'm Colton Birch with Semco Energy. Jason Livingston with Semco Energy is here as well. We're proposing, we have an existing regulator station that comes in from the north from outside of the township, and it feeds south into our existing system. This feeds into our high-pressure distribution system as well as our medium-pressure distribution system, which feeds the Armada area. And actually, we're doing an expansion project in Armada currently that will encompass Romeo Plank going north and some of the side streets there as well. Because of the setbacks of our valves and our standards, we have a lot that's 1.75 acres, or not 1.75, sorry, the requirement is 1.75 acres. The site that we had bought that would previously been split is 1.54 acres. And because of the setbacks that we had to have between our valves, it pushed our regulator stations more south in our property, which has made us come into the setback of Irwin Road and Romeo Plank Road. So we're proposing to put a building around our station in our regulators, which is some our equipment that should stay out of the weather. There's a lot of pressure monitoring devices and such that should be out of the weather. So we want to protect that equipment. It also reduces noise for the surrounding houses and traffic, keeps everything looking nice and neat as well. With that, we'd also propose to put a fence around this just to keep people out. We did have a break-in not too long ago, probably about 3 weeks ago. Some of our parts have been stolen, so we kind of want to lock up our station as well. So we're asking for a variance to be within that setback of Irwin Road and Romeo Plank. There is existing screening already there with the tree cover that is there. I did provide pictures in the submittal for the planning commission. I do have those pictures with me if you guys would like to see as well.
I did provide them, did I not?
No, not the photos, but I went out and
Yeah,
looked
I've
at
seen
the
the
site. I
site,
think most
yeah.
of us usually do
Right.
go look at the site that's
It's
being proposed.
pretty covered, yeah.
Yeah, and
So
it's,
we saw the tree line is right at the ditch there on Irwin.
and so the building will be on the south side of that. There's a series of valves and there's a concrete pad. The building will be just larger than that concrete pad.
Currently, we're in the public comment section, right? So I refrain from asking any questions at this time, would you say?
We're not in public comment yet, but the board can certainly, if you have questions, Jim, go right ahead.
Okay, well then, you referenced valve setbacks. Are you referring to requirements from property lines for your valves? What do you mean as far as your valve setbacks?
So we had to have valves based on, valve separations based on electrical classifications and emergency shutdown procedures from SEMCO.
Okay,
So we have our driveway all the way to the north on the property, and we have our power pole on the south side of our driveway, and we need to have a minimum distance from that power pole to a valve. So, and then from that valve, which is our fire valve for the station, so in case anything ever happened, we were able to shut off flow to the station. We could go shut off that valve without getting too close to the regulators. So we have a minimum distance from that valve to the regulators as well. So
oh,
all of our
separation, okay.
minimums.
I
Yeah.
misunderstood that to be setback, okay. Thank you.
Yep, so all of our minimums stacked together kind of push us all the way south there. And then
Now-
we can't move our station any more east because there is a drain right away there on the east side of the property. So trying to,
And there's a house.
yes, and there's a house, we're trying to stay away from that house
Yeah.
as much as possible as well.
So this site is approximately 1.5 acres? And do you know how long Semco's owned this property?
I think we purchased it roughly 2 years ago.
Okay.
This gentleman didn't say, did he? He did the letter. Did he say when he bought it, or when he sold it?
That's a drain.
No, he just said he sold it, he didn't say when.
So the power pole is what's controlling where the locations of, your valves and things, the distances, and you said you had to keep separation between your valves and the power?
Yes,
And then from the valves to the building, so if you add the two up, like if I understood you correctly, that's how they're getting their location for their pressure PRV valves.
yep, and we had DTE, they're the ones that select the location of the pole, and we tried to move it to the north side of our driveway, but they insisted that it was too close to the property line and the driveway to protect the pole, so they wanted us to
Oh.
move that to the south side of the driveway there.
And so that building's gonna enclose that pad,
Yes.
but not just that pad?
The
Well, it's-
pad and.
Just a little bit more than the pad?
Yeah, yep, the building will be a 24 by 42
Yeah,
in
it's-
size.
Fairly decent
It's not
sized
very
building.
big,
It's,
yeah.
there's a few, it must be PRVs that come up out of the ground and back down that aren't enclosed in concrete, it looked like today. Are those also gonna be in the building? There was a concrete pad and it looked like, I think, 2 sections of pipe that came up and back down into the ground.
Yeah, those will not be enclosed.
Okay,
Yep, those are just valves. What we're enclosing are regulators and
Okay.
control valves, so remotely controlled valves from our skater room.
Okay.
did you take a picture when you were out there?
Yeah, I
It's a
did.
good idea.
And then now the other item there is the heater, is the larger device there with the stack on it,
Yeah.
Yep.
and that's obviously not in the building. And then when you talk about controlling sound, where's most of the noise generated? Is it in the heaters or in the pipes and valves, or?
It'd be just outside of the regulators, which would be inside of the building, and then we're gonna insulate the building, so to prevent any kind of noise, but
So the regulators themselves make a fair amount of noise when they're operated, is that what you're saying?
yeah, under heavy flow.
Okay.
Okay. Madam Chair, is this the only letter we received? Just one?
That's the only
Yeah.
letter we received, correct?
Okay. Well, I should read that into the public record.
Yeah, if you want.
You want me to? Oh,
I don't have the right glasses, I'm not sure.
Okay.
It'd probably be more accurate if you do it.
We did receive one letter, and it's, I am writing to vehemently oppose the request for a variance of section 803 subsection D of the Armada zoning ordinance for 16671 Irwin Road. I am the former property owner of this land and sold it to an individual to build a home on, so I'm already unhappy with the pump station being installed on that corner lot. There is a constant noise beginning very early in the morning every day on that property. I moved out here to get away from the city and all the noise. I own an additional 2.2 acres or so that adjoins this property that I'm willing to sell to Semco at the current market value. These acres are currently on the description on my home, therefore a split would be required. In conclusion, I don't think that a variance should be approved. The property was not designed for industrial building and is certainly not designed for a building without proper offsets. Semco has a viable option to build their building without them being granted this variance. And that's the Greg Clark on 16755 Irwin Road.
Is the noise he's referring to generally related to the construction of the site?
Yes, yep,
Okay.
there's no gas flowing through that station as of right now. It's just, they're still constructing it as we speak. And the noise generated from the site will not be loud. The neighbor to the east will not be able to, should not be able to hear the station really running.
So the noise is strictly construction noise, the
Yes.
backup alarms on the equipment, stuff like that? Kinda?
Yep.
Okay.
And to his point, I will make sure that I understand and everybody that's listening understands. The building will enclose equipment that is already there, correct? You're going to build around some of your equipment that is already existing on the site. So his point that you could move the building elsewhere really doesn't help you because you'd have to move those pads and those regulators, which I assume because of all of your other space considerations would not be a viable option,
Correct.
correct?
Got some public out there.
I'm just curious, with our ordinances and stuff, that's why I came.
Oh.
Just to see, if there's something we need to change in our ordinances as we pound them,
Is there any?
Kathleen,
Kathleen?
anything? I don't see any other, anybody online?
Does that mean there's one person watching?
I think
Do we-
you would see there,
Usually you can see it on the screen.
Yeah.
It looks like we're the only person.
you're the one,
on
yeah.
there.
Probably.
Yeah, we're the one.
All right,
Okay.
then I guess,
Well, seeing no other public comment, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing at 7:13.
Do you have anything else you want to add, Jason, or?
Yeah, I would just add that I do sympathize, the construction noise can be, annoying. But yeah, going forward, we would have people there once a week. They do annual inspections and stuff like that, so just a maintenance related activity only. So pickup trucks or vans, but not excavators, not, the things that are going on.
that's a temporary situation until you're finished.
And that should be finished up relatively soon, depending on when.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. It looks like you've got most of it done.
No, I do have a question
Okay.
about that. If you don't know. How is this, like any public utility can just go ahead and go in and do what they wanna do? And then if there's something, if they've already started construction or already have things there, is that allowed in our ordinances? That they can just go ahead and do that, or should there have been prior approval?
Well, there's no,
Well,
There's
Chris,
no
it says
building
Chris,
there,
because the
yeah.
building is, the permits pulled for all this type of work that's already?
They are not required to pull permits for putting underground lines in.
Okay.
Well, you may have to pull them from the county, because you're putting them close to the right of way, but there's nothing from the township level that they have to pull.
Okay, even though that they're kind of above the
Just for
ground
the-
and,
Just for the building.
Just for buildings.
If they construct this pole barn type
We don't
building.
we don't require permits for the cement pad that they put in
okay.
currently.
But what about the piping that's above ground and things? And so there's no permits?
No, not from the township level.
Okay. So the permitting was said at the county level?
Yes, yep.
And that'd be just for the right of way, I'm sure, right, I assume, right, that,
Yeah, and we do have private easement along the way as well, but yes, we do have a Macomb County right-of-way permit.
Because I'm sure they wouldn't want a pipe sticking above the ground alongside the road, where it would be a hazard to traffic and things. But
There are areas where we do that, but we also add guardrail or bollards or something like that as well. So we'll work with the county in that case to protect traffic and our facilities from each other.
Okay, so all the work that you've done has been permitted at the county level? Okay. Good question,
Does
Beth.
that help you, Beth?
Well, it does, yes,
Okay, cool.
it helps, but I'm just thinking now, like, so if you have an acre next to you or 3 acres, and it is, if it's considered residential or ag, it does mean that any public utility can come in and just do this.
So I think most public utilities have more structures involved, so that it's usually permitted cell towers and buildings, and, this is kind of going the other way.
And the cell towers, solar towers, any kind of building for a utility does require special land use. So
And-
you'll be seeing them next week.
Yeah, this is going to
Or
the planning
two-
commission.
Yeah, next week.
Okay, I just assumed that it had to come, like, get some prior approval that it can be done in the township, and it doesn't.
I think you're doing this for expediency. You normally go to the planning commission, but you're getting the variances first and then going to the planning commission.
It didn't
It's just a little-
make sense to send them to the planning commission without the variance,
Right, okay,
so.
okay,
Because
yeah,
we would have done a conditional anyway on this. So.
No, cool.
just anybody, DTE, anybody could do this that is a public utility. I guess that's what I wanted to verify. Thank you.
Okay, well, my motion didn't get any second, so I'll make another one.
Make, try again.
Motion to close the public hearing at 7:18.
7:18.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No opposed. Okay. The public hearing is officially closed.
So-
Discussion?
Yes, well, so, I
Well, do you
mean,
want to do this under going to new business, right?
yeah,
Sumco.
I guess. you-
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's first,
right.
it's first order of business.
First order of business is new business, so,
If I may then, I agree with Beth, actually, so concerns that I have with this are, why did Semco, Semco certainly could have purchased a larger parcel in order to meet these requirements, is what it sounds like to me. And then, as far as the construction, obviously they began constructing these facilities prior, knowing that they intended to put them in a building and didn't receive approval before that. So that does concern me. Generally speaking, understanding what they're doing, I'm not saying I have a real issue with what they're proposing with the variance. However, those are my concerns, which are Semco could have and should have investigated this parcel further and possibly purchased a large, it didn't, as far as I understand, it didn't actually need to go on this parcel. They could have either enlarged this parcel or built this somewhere else potentially. That would be my concern from an engineering standpoint, that they maybe missed that mark. So if we're allowing a variance when there's, I wouldn't say a hardship exists in that case, or.
What you're saying is they created the circumstances that are causing the need for the variance.
I generally would say that would have a concern that does this open the door for anybody, utility or otherwise, to build something and say, well, I couldn't build it where I wanted to, so I built it here, and can you give me a variance? That would be my that's my concern. I don't know if you guys, if that's valid, or if you guys don't see it that way, please help me there, but.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, that's probably one of the concerns, is that it wasn't, the site wasn't developed, you know, in a way, in a manner that would allow you to meet the requirements. And it's, I know you're saying it's, your pipes had to go certain places, but, I mean, I don't know how all that was determined, but they did end up pretty close to Irwin Road. 'Cause right now, let's see, what they need in that district is, I believe, 110.
110 from the center line, yeah, center of the right of way.
Both Romeo and Plank and Irwin would be 110 from the center line of the road. And that's what I'm looking at on this drawing.
And it's 95 and then 58, it appears.
Romeo Plank's not too, it's only 15 feet short,
But again,
Irwin
they've
Road
already
is-
constructed the things they intend to cover, so that,
Yeah, that's why there's no buying extra land or building the building somewhere else isn't going to help, because
well,
what they want to enclose is already there.
well,
And
certainly
see,
it
it's
would be
literally
expensive,
right
but
there, yeah.
certainly it would be expensive, but technically speaking, they could move it if required. I'm not proposing that, but I'm just
thinking
saying.
that like underground pipes are there and
Yeah.
gas is gonna be
So-
flowing or something, and
So it looks like it's what, just over 62 feet from the
Plus 33, yeah, so
plus
it's 90, that's
33.
approximately 95
About
feet.
So
95
about
feet
90, about
on the
90,
Romeo Plank side.
95 feet, so the Romeo Plank is very close, you only need, what, 15?
feet. Isn't bad.
So you need 15-foot variance from Romeo Plank. But Irwin's fairly close. Irwin is
58 feet,
25 plus, let's see.
plus
plus-
33, yeah.
Plus 33. Okay, so we got 25, 33, my calculator
58 is
doesn't
what
work.
The-
you're asking for?
58.
The
Well, so it's
other way to look at it would be if it was moved, it would actually be more, it would impact the residents more if you move it further from the right-of-way. So in some regards,
Yeah.
being closer to the right-of-way is a benefit to the surrounding properties, at least the way I see it.
Okay, so if my chicken scratch is right, we need 52-foot variance from Irwin and a 15-foot from Romeo Plank. And then we don't need a variance for the fence. The fence doesn't have a setback, but it's measured out there. Okay. And we have the now this will be done more at the planning commission level. We have all the elevations and
Yeah,
stuff.
that's,
We're just,
it was interesting, I was glad they were included, 'cause
they're ready to go to planning commission. So what we're trying to determine is if they need us to grant them a 15-foot variance from Romeo Plank and a 52-foot variance from Irwin. That's really what they're seeking to build this building. Okay, so we have to meet the 5 standards.
double check, 52 or 58? I
He-
think the
he has it
application
written
says 58.
58?
The application is
Yeah.
asking for
Okay.
58, so maybe 52 is,
Probably bad math on my part.
No, it's
I
just-
think
it's
it just was
just-
incorrect on the application.
it's the other 50, 52 is how far back it will sit,
well,
and
they've-
58 is the variance.
They've got 25-foot and 33, right? So that's 58 feet.
So their variance is 52 feet, their current proposed setback is 58 feet.
Oh, is that, okay,
Yes.
then I'm reading that wrong, thank you, I read that wrong. Damn glasses, I can't see.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay.
A setback of 58, you're right.
If a building, if a setback is not approved, does Semco have the option to construct something else to cover their valves or whatever that would not require the setback? Just trying to be thorough
I
on
would
this.
think
Like
in-
a hoop house kind of deal or something?
I would think anything you build would be a
Shelter.
structure, probably.
Yeah,
That would be
it's
big
good.
enough, so,
Just,
yeah,
Just asking.
that would still need a variance. Okay, well, We could go through the,
Yeah.
we should go through the 5 standards, I guess.
Yeah.
How the strict enforcement of the provisions of the township zoning ordinance would cause practical difficulty and deprive the owner of rights enjoyed by all their property owners owning property within the same district. In order, so that the response was, in order to maintain the required valve setbacks in our station, the building has to be located where proposed. If Semco was to follow the zoning ordinance, the proper valve setbacks would not be met.
So that,
DJ, may I ask a question here? Sure. Briefly, of these gentlemen?
Sure. Well, that's the,
Do you have a
chair's
second?
job.
Can you show me where this pole is for DTE? That you're referring to?
It is that right there.
This is that pole right here? And what's the distance you have to maintain from here to here? Because this is the regulators, right?
It's from here to the valve.
and then from the
Okay.
valve to the,
So what's the distance you have to maintain there?
So this is 30 feet from
Mhm.
this valve, from that flange to
Yep.
that pole.
Yep.
And then this is actually for maintenance, that has it can receive what's called a pig for cleaning purposes or
Sure.
for, inline inspection of the pipeline.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to be able to use that tool, these valves had to be set back
Mm-hmm.
this way so that we could get that tool in and out of there.
Mm-hmm.
what's that minimum distance?
So what-
It depends on what tool that you're using. Jason, I don't know if you have I know some could be quite long.
15 foot after the assembly, and the assembly could be, maybe 10 foot.
So
we
say
did-
25 feet.
Yeah, so 25 feet,
Show me that.
so 25, from here going back this way, cause this is on an
Yep,
angle,
yep,
shooting this way, be
yep.
25 feet,
From this valve to this valve
yep,
has to be 25 feet.
at a minimum.
And now the first
Okay.
one's 30 feet.
And the next one's 30 feet, and then from this valve going to this building has to be 30 feet.
Has to be 30 feet.
Yep.
And you're built, and this is, okay.
So 85,
Does it
that's
change
not to
anything if we
mention,
move?
right now it's not to
So
mention.
this is what you want covered.
Yeah.
Yes, yep.
So that's this whole cement
What
pad
does it
here.
change?
Yeah, that's bigger than I.
And this is installed.
Yep,
Well,
so
all that section.
everything's installed.
Yeah, this is here, this is
Yep,
here.
that's
The
here.
stuff that's gonna go in the building is actually already installed as well.
And you have to maintain a minimum of 30 feet between here and here.
Yes.
And is it a huge deal if that's moved?
That valve there,
Yeah.
that actually already has gas on it, so, yes.
So the reason I'm asking that question is if this wasn't here, and for instance, this was there, that would allow you to move your building? Is that correct or not correct?
Yes, but so we actually have 2 stations inside of here, so we go out and then 90,
Okay,
this pipeline actually goes like this,
Okay.
comes back.
Yep.
So this is the valve for that station, and then this valve, there's actually a series of 4 valves here,
mm-hmm,
and there's one facing back this way to feed the stand here that feeds our local distribution system here. So
okay,
there would still be a valve there, and we'd be if we tried to move it up here,
yeah,
we'd be crossing our pipelines, and it'd be it would not be a very good situation for clarity too, when you go to the site, and you can see what valves
Mhm.
feed what.
the only reason I'm asking is I'm just seeing if there's anything in this existing scenario that can be adjusted to help make this more.
Everything's already in place too.
Yeah, no, I've seen it, I know, yeah, okay.
It's all been pressure tested.
Yeah, you're
Mhm.
saying, could they have, prior to construction, maybe rotated things, pivoted some things to allow that structure?
Exactly, if this valve, for instance, was not here, and it was or even
Yeah.
if this valve was located even north, just go straight north, and even if Edison had to come in and go from here and put a pole back there, to allow for their distance here, then this could all have been moved that direction and life would be good.
Yeah, potentially.
That pole is set right where it's at, just because the existing lines are there, that's right where
Only
DTE wanted
42
that at.
inches.
Uh-huh.
And so this valve here, our pipeline comes from the
It
north.
just
and
occurred
kinda
to me.
Comes in this way, and then as soon as it hits our property,
Yep.
it starts diving into our property on a 45, just because those tools are so long.
Yeah.
And everything has to be on 45s or long radius 90s. So it requires us to shoot into the station at that
Okay.
angle right where that valve there is at.
Okay. Okay, thanks for your explanation.
So,
Appreciate it.
I mean, it does look like, you know, this would cause a practical difficulty. I mean, we got, because obviously the next thing is, you know, this is a unique circumstances which, you know,
Being a
utility,
utility.
yeah. Well, it says the conditions and circumstances unique to the property which are not similar applicable to other properties in the same zoning district. Utility properties are pretty unique in the township. That's not our normal type property. I mean, they've got, you can see what they've got there. That's, would definitely be
Unique.
a hardship and unique. It'd be hard to move this. And you do see this type of stuff all the time along the roads, gas valves.
Oh,
fairly
yeah.
close, and
Yeah.
they guard them. Okay, and then the third thing we have to see is that this is the tricky one. The conditions and circumstances unique to the property were not created by the owner or the predecessor in title within the time following the effective date and provisions alleged to adversely affect the property. That's kind of a gray area because they did put all this in, but I mean, we're kind of dealing with a utility which is somewhat limited to what they can do with this, this type of, you know, the pipes and things like that. It's, you know, it's a different animal than somebody just constructing a building to put up a building.
Yeah, I understand that, given the size of the site, they're very limited in how their layout could meet all their other requirements. Is that essentially what you're getting at? I mean, if this was a 100-acre site, clearly they would have had a lot more options on that.
The fact that it is a utility and they're trying to compress all this type of
Yeah.
hardware, the piping and you know, the regulators and the heater and everything onto a site and make it work, it does create these unique circumstances that, you know, which is typical for a
Sure.
variance.
And I guess on that note, utilities not, they have no interest, or there's no value to them to purchase additional acreage just for setbacks
Just to meet
requirements.
right.
It's not a homestead. And in that regard, as a township, we most likely would not want to lose more property by requiring utilities to purchase larger sites in that regards.
So there's gas in these lines right now, and then eventually these will all have gas in them.
Yeah, there's gas in one line coming up to a valve currently, and then, whenever the building is constructed, if approved, will be gas in about immediately after that.
And you must have setbacks from residences and things like that. I mean, I've seen these well heads where they kind of, you know, they do have an issue and they're pretty spectacular.
Oh,
Yeah, there are all types of facilities, like the rate compressor station, there's the well sites, small reg stands, stations like we're looking to. They all have kind of different setbacks and that sort of thing, depending on the nature of the facility.
Does the county require you to maintain certain setbacks in some way? I'm assuming you have to apply to the county for permits with all these things?
So actually, we're regulated by the Michigan Public Service Commission.
Mhm.
They're the commission that regulates the rates, but also the safety aspect of our business.
Yep.
And so we comply with their requirements. The county has requirements themselves, but the PSC also has.
So this site
Now, there's a
plan, I'm
something
just
farther.
assuming has to be submitted to the county for their approval?
You can go higher for.
Yes, and the pipeline to the north and south, yeah.
Okay, so the county's seen what you have proposed here, and they've approved the site from their perspective.
most likely they're just looking at the right-of-way as far as their review would be my assumption.
That is their concern, yeah. So road crossings, and we are in private easement that we purchased from landowners, so a lot of it they were not really concerned with.
Mm-hmm. Are they also concerned with the setbacks of your regulators and things from that perspective, from the road?
So, no, I don't believe so.
Okay.
It will sometimes require guardrail or extra protection for them,
Mm-hmm.
Especially if they're in right of way. And then they'll specify what type of guard.
Okay. I've seen those, I can't remember where, but I have seen what you just mentioned.
Yep. Yeah, in some instances where we're closer to the road, yeah, we'll put the standard guardrail with the breakaway wood post and the, and not approved.
Mhm.
Metal guard.
And so the whole purpose of the building is to protect those regulators, and the fence is not, it's not just for security, the fence would be the security you need, right? But the building is to, what, control noise and,
Our buildings are also locked inside of the fence as well.
okay.
What is the primary purpose of the building? For weather protection of the equipment?
Weather protection, then security secondly. But this equipment is something that the regulators are sensitive enough that they should be protected from the weather. Okay. I mean, I don't have any issues. I mean, it's because of the fact that it's a utility.
Utility.
It does make it pretty unique,
Yeah, it's
and that,
very,
and
yeah.
you can see that what they've got there, that they, they don't really have a lot of choice, but.
Yeah, I mean, having had this discussion, I do agree with that as well.
Mhm. Like I say, the only one that's tough to meet is that they didn't create the circumstances, but being a utility, they're pretty limited. It's not like somebody building a house. It's a completely different thing when you're talking to utility. I mean, I just think that the equipment and things, see, we don't even see this until it gets to this
Yeah.
point
Well, there's,
where it's a building.
yeah, there's the size of the site. Actually, there's plenty of room on the site to do everything they need, but because of their certain site requirements, it
Yeah, the
forces
other
them kind of
requirement-
into
the
that
other
corner.
setback
Yeah.
requirements that have nothing to do with our ordinances that they have to maintain.
Right.
And the drain easement on the east side of the property as well.
Yeah, that's it. The drain is definitely
Mhm.
close. You can't push it back any farther. You can only go, only thing you could have done is gone north more,
Yeah.
farther from Irwin, but
That pushes us towards that house that's on the northeast corner of the
Mhm.
property as well.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's definitely not, I mean, it's not contrary to the spirit of the ordinance. I mean, this is,
No,
the ordinance would, want to see the facilities of, the gas and things available to residents. But and that is kind of a unique intersection where the Irwin stops there, so that traffic all has to stop. So as far as like sight lines and things, and it's pretty heavily wooded, your clear
yeah, especially
vision.
the Irwin side.
Yeah,
so-
they have to stop there anyway. Romeo's the through road.
Yeah, then it's a driveway.
Yeah.
You go west, it's a driveway.
So I don't see any problem with being contrary to the intent of the ordinance. I mean.
No, I agree.
Are you saying as far as allowing the vegetation to serve as a buffer? Is that what you're
Well,
referring to?
constructing a building, the reason the setbacks are there are,
Oh,
for
for
safety.
for
On
visibility
A corner
and
lot,
that-
you have to
gotcha.
maintain on both road frontage and it's to keep the road, for clear vision, but, this isn't a typical intersection, it's a
Yep.
T intersection where
Mhm.
Irwin has to stop all the time, and the building is set back far enough from there that, on Romeo Plank, it's only 15 feet short, so it's not really causing any hazard as far as the clear vision there. So,
I understand.
are we pretty much in agreement that this is, more of a necessity for the utility and not a contrary to the ordinance, and
I'm, yeah, that's where I am with it.
You have any other questions, Jim?
I don't think so.
okay, so we would, an ordinance, a variance would be from section 802, let me make sure, 803. From 8.03, which is our setbacks. 803,
Yeah.
D.
D?
Yep, D is minimum lot setbacks.
Yeah, that's a D, see?
Okay,
I knew how they got it.
so it'd be a 15-foot variance from Romeo Plank.
And
And a
52.
52-foot variance from Irwin. Because they met all the conditions in section 18.02, which is our variance review procedure. Rather than cite each one of them individually.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's met the requirements of section 1802, and that's the right section, right? Okay. Okay, ready, Chris? I'm gonna make a motion. I'm gonna make a motion to grant a variance from section 8.03D to allow a 15-foot variance, a 15-foot setback variance from Romeo Plank and a 52-foot setback variance from Irwin Road because the applicant met all requirements of section 1802. Did you get that?
I think so.
Okay. So I've got, motion is to grant a variance from section 8.03D for a 15-foot setback variance from Romeo Plank and a 52-foot 52-foot, no wonder you're not getting this. 52-foot setback variance from Irwin Road because the applicant met all the requirements of section 18.02.
All right, yes.
And then
I have-
we've got all that in the.
And I'll second that.
Well, it would help to see if I could write.
And then this will be going to the planning commission in another
Yeah.
couple weeks.
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No opposed?
And then there was a question about the fence.
Yeah, that's, I wanted your take on that.
It looks to me,
I think it's,
I'm looking in our fence section 2.14, and it says, G is fences constructed as part of a cemetery, storage facility, or other non-residential use may be constructed up to a height of 6 feet in the front yard, subject to site plan approval by the planning commission. I'm assuming your fences can probably be a 6-foot security fence? 8 foot? Oh, okay, so,
Anything on top of that?
Yes, 2 strands of barbed wire is typical.
so you actually need a variance for the height of the fence.
for the
then,
height of the
don't you?
fence then too, you need a variance for that.
I don't even know, can we do that if it wasn't advertised?
I don't think legally we can.
No, I think it has to be part of the,
It would have
because
been
the
the application.
what was advertised and what was, sent to the neighboring, properties has to include, so we,
Yeah, it doesn't
we need to.
It doesn't
we need to
show,
redo
doesn't show what the fence is in here.
No, it shows that the fence intends to. expand,
That'll come up at the planning commission.
Yeah,
It's not
you
on
might have
here.
to come back and see us again,
Unless they
Or
change
just
it
go,
to
make the
6 foot.
fence slightly
or
lower.
just make it a 6-foot fence.
We could do a 6-foot fence. Yeah, we're still gonna be required to do the 3-strand on top, would that be acceptable?
You'd be
That's-
6 feet
That's a planning
Yeah.
plus
issue.
on top.
I don't,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it does not really address, the ordinance doesn't really address
doesn't address that kind of
the,
security type.
security fencing with the, it just has that allowance up to 6 feet in the front yard, for these types of things like that.
But that'll be again at planning commission. They'll address that.
The primary concern of the fence, of course, is just security, right? It's out in the country, and we try to keep away from people's houses, so people don't see it. People do, drive up and tend to, check things out late at night.
This'll, you'll probably, you'll have to give some more information on the fence, but that'll come out in the planning commission review.
Okay.
And,
Coming back next week for that?
well, it's 2 more weeks, right?
Next week.
Next week for planning commission, 2 more
It
weeks.
can't,
We're back
it
here
can't,
Thursday.
it can't be 2 weeks. already. I mean,
It's
one,
next week.
okay. Well, I better make sure I'm here.
You
Yeah,
better
so-
be.
Yeah, Monday.
It's
Oh, we
after
do say
Labor
it's
Day.
Labor Day.
Yeah, it's next week. Okay.
Can I have my page back? My pen's page.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
After somebody wrote on it.
Well, I wrote on it, but that's
Oh.
okay.
Okay, so you have, the motion's on the table, right? We have to- we have.
No,
We all voted.
We got- okay, all
Been
right.
voted on?
See, I'm behind on days, I'm behind on
Motion passed.
motions, okay.
Okay.
Motion
Thank you.
passed.
Okay, you probably want to get some information for the planning commission on the fence. Has Caitlin done the review on that?
She emailed me after hours today with a question on it, but she's almost done.
Okay. You might want to tell her to kind of look at the fence, see
I
what
can
their
do that.
options are on that, so,
I can do that.
okay.
So, I was expecting to have her answer by tomorrow, so I'll just give her a call before she sends it. So, and then I'll forward it to you. And you talked to Kevin, the fire marshal, and he sent his revised, I don't know if he sent his revised yet or not, but he told me that everything was good, so.
Okay. I think he did, because he followed up with an email to me afterwards.
Maybe he forgot to CC me. All right. Okay.
Okay, next item?
We have another agenda item.
We do have one more agenda item before we get out of here.
So you guys are all set?
Yeah, you're all set. This is just
You're welcome to stay if
little
you'd like.
housekeeping business for us to elect officers. So,
Every year, so.
every year.
So every meeting.
Yeah.
I know.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Now just to get gas to my house.
Okay, is there, well, I was just looking to see if we had a current, who's who on the zoning board.
Oh,
The minutes, the last minutes say who as far as, all right.
Huh,
What are you looking for?
So we're done. We do-
Yeah, if you look at the minutes from the August 2nd meeting, you'll have your motion for the election of officers.
yeah. The minutes we approved from the last,
Oh, so we did it.
from a year ago were for the election of officers.
Yeah, that
Oh,
right there.
okay, so what do we do?
Anybody want to be the
Two,
chair?
really, six.
I don't care.
I was hoping you'd be up for it still.
I'm fine with it, but
Okay.
Vice chair.
if somebody else really wanted to do it, I'd be all right with that too.
We could appoint Diane since she's
That's
not
right,
here.
she's not here, we could give her the job. She's already the secretary,
That's true.
Well,
But she's not here. How
but
could-
she's not here.
if it's okay, I'd make a motion just to keep the elections as is. That would be
I would support
Um,
that.
Gail as chair and myself as vice chair and Diane as the secretary. Technically can't be.
I was gonna say, probably not,
You
as the
can't
liaison.
Because you're a
You're the
liaison.
liaison.
Yeah.
It only leaves you if you're looking for a position, do you?
I'm
Yeah.
not looking for anything.
Okay, well, that,
You need a gig?
my motion would be to
Doesn't pay very well, but it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
keep the officers as they are now.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion, we have support. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed?
Congratulations,
Motion
Gail.
I appreciate you
Yay.
guys willing to do that.
Congratulations.
And who's going to adjourn us?
Well, we have public comment. Does the public wish to make a comment? We knew that. Did you want to make a
Come on,
comment?
Kathy, she made a comment.
I can tell you about my trip that I just went. We'll be here for another hour.
Okay, if there's no pertinent public comment,
We need a
7:57,
motion?
we need a motion to adjourn. I think, was
Yeah.
it yours, DJ? Did you say you made the motion?
No, I didn't make one.
Okay. Anybody else
What
want
time
to make
is
a
it?
motion?
I want to stay all
I
night.
usually don't make the motions, but I'll
No.
second it.
What's that?
Who made it, Jim?
I'll make a motion to
Jim-
adjourn
Jim's
at, you
motion.
said, what time is it, 7:50?
7:51 now, officially.
7:51.
7:51.
It was a Jim and Gail?
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.